Last couple of segments, guys, we looked at the offensive side, now to the defensive side, which played obviously a huge role in the Volunteers' ability to get to the college football playoff. Will this segment begin with the pass defense? And they have to replace key players. There is the question of Jermon McCoy coming back from his torn ACL, but he's a preseason All-American. Nobody questions his ability if he's out there healthy on the field. James Pierce Jr. was a first-round pick, has to be replaced. Omar Norman-Lott was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs. He has to be replaced on the interior. So they have some guys they have to replace on the defensive front, guys that transferred out in the secondary, but they've also brought in somebody like Colton Hood, who should help at corner, which probably is important while McCoy comes back. So same focus here. Scale of 1 to 10. Tyler, where are you with Tennessee's pass defense heading into the summer?
8. I think with the defensive line combination with an upgraded, better Willie Martinez secondary, I think it's going to be probably the best unit again. We spoke with Josh Heupel at a luncheon a week and a half plus. Hey, is there any way, somebody asked me a question, is there any way that your defense can be better than it was last year? Well, we hope so, and we think it can be. Tyree West, massive opportunity to be able to make up for some of the things left behind by the players you just mentioned. The one player I'm hoping takes a massive step, like can't wait to be in Pittsburgh to be drafted next year, Joshua Josephs. I want to see Joshua Josephs absolutely start making up some of the ground, make him be the double-team guy that we saw so often last year with James Pierce. He's a couple that come to mind. And also, I want to see if Arion Carter or Jeremiah T-Lander can also do what they need to get through to the offensive line. I think it's going to be the highest ranking out of anything we talk about this afternoon.
All right, Tyler's an 8 on Tennessee's pass defense. Who wants to go next?
I'm not quite as optimistic about that. I mean, you're losing like certainly an all-SEC corner, an ACL. We don't know for sure how soon he's going to be back, if he will be back full strength in the first year. You talked about some of the other things. I think there's yards to be gained against this Tennessee defense through the air. You can say that about a lot of teams. With the pass rush, we saw it was more effective getting pressures than sacks. And the tackles for losses. I'm going to give it a 7 on how I think, because the defense is the one side that has made consistent, even if it's not great strides, it's some improvement year after year after year, all 4 years. So I don't expect a big drop-off, but I think there's a lot of things that have to fall into place.
Okay, question still looming for Chuck. So he's a 7, which is not too bad, by the way, but an 8 for Tyler, a 7 for Chuck. Scale of 1 to 10. Vince, where are you with Tennessee's pass defense?
I'm at 7, and because there's multiple elements to it, I'm a little bit more bullish on the pass rush, on the defensive line, helping that especially. And then there's certainly questions on the back end, so I think it evens out to a 7. I do feel good that Joshua Josephs is going to be really good and take that next step. Got to find a second guy. Is it Caleb Herring? Is Jordan Ross ready for that big step? He missed a lot of spring. I do think there's still some candidates to get you some pass rush in the middle. And Tim Banks will always kind of generate some different exotic blitzes to it at times. So I think they'll be good there, and I trust Rodney Gardner. That's another aspect of it. And then on the back end, just razor thin back there. Especially if you don't have McCoy out of the gate, and Ricky Gibson, how good is Colton Hood? It's a veteran addition, but can he make that adjustment? Not the biggest guy. And then Jalen McMurray, he worked a lot at the star position because Boo Carter practiced some at wide receiver. How much are they going to be able to play Boo Carter if they're really thin and Jalen McMurray's got to play an outside corner spot? And then that second safety spot is kind of dicey right now too, with a lot of young players. So more questions on the back end. Feel good about the benefit of the doubt with the pass rush. So I'll go 7.
And I think with Boo Carter, I think his priority still needs to be defense.
Yeah,
1,000%.
1,000%. And if you can get him 6 to 8 touches minimum on offense, I think you're doing great. Get him on the field, but if you can get him involved some, however you do it, in different ways, but you need him on that defense and you need him on the back end.
And Willie Martinez said he's making the calls on the back end. So it sounds like more mature, more invested, more knowledgeable about what's going on. So if he could take that step there, maybe you get some game-changing plays that can offset some of that lack of depth on the back end.
So I'm a 7 as well. I did say we ride with Ivans here, but not in this segment. It's a ride share with Vince, Chuck, and Josh here. But it's because of questions that have a chance to have really positive answers. Colton Hood is a nice guy to bring in this late when you need help at corner. Change at safety could end up being good. Maybe Idris Farouk ends up having a big second year on campus, and then you have Boo Carter take a big step, and Jermon McCoy comes back healthy as quickly as possible, and he's really good, and Ricky Gibson's better. But those are just too many ifs for me to be that high as an 8 or better now. The potential is still really good. Same with guys up front. You need Caleb Herring to make a jump. Can Jordan Ross be a guy year 2? He's a 5-star player. Yeah. Is he somebody that can make a difference right away? So if those things come together, then this pass defense from Tennessee can be as good or better than next year. They need these next few months to figure some of that out. Yeah. And the sooner they get Tramon McCoy back, the better for Tennessee's entire defense, because opposing offenses pay attention when he's on the field.
Quickly, maybe this is not to be unfair. I mentioned earlier, Nico, replacement, who's your guy? I think more center. I know everybody's going to say who's going to replace James Pierce. I personally believe the question is going to be who's going to replace Omar Norman Line. He was a massive, massive reason why Tennessee finished second in the SEC at stopping the run. Who's going to replace a guy who just
still,
filled up
even
the
like
holes
with the NFL, you heard at the draft that he didn't play a large number of snaps because they had a lot of rotation there. Yeah. So I see what you're saying, but that tells me if somebody else can step up, that role is not as if he's on the field virtually every down on defense.